Hello friends, today I want to talk about a very different subject, and that is art and neurosurgery. I would like to read to you from the article I had recently written and also show some of my artworks which will highlight the aesthetics that we see while performing neurosurgery. So this is the article I would like to read to you. Hello my dear friends from different walks of life. Today I want to unfold the aesthetic beauty of the brain through this talk. Acquisition of knowledge and scientific principles through the routine path of words and language is often inferior to that gained by strong and appropriate symbolism. Symbols have the ability to bypass the tedious path of logic and even words, and for that matter even written language. The drawing symbolism delivers the complex concepts directly. We have forgotten the fact that learning not only needs logic but also emotional process and emotional intelligence. Painting and drawing is a form of direct understanding through feelings and aesthetic musings. Acquisition and deep understanding of any concept or subject is logically intangible many a times. And indeed, as it should be. It is our everyday experience when there are moments when we say to ourselves, I don't know how I know this and how I know this in detail, but I just know it. And we have always felt this many times over in our life. This is an example of direct knowledge, and art is often a vehicle for it. Unfortunately, it has been neglected in science for a long time. The branch of neurosurgery itself is a combination of art and science. The process of visuomanual art has a very big role to play in the whole experience of being a neurosurgeon. It has the potential to enhance speed of grasping of the scientific principles through symbolism, providing neurosurgeons with aesthetic enrichment in their daily work. It could possibly provide stress relief through the process of art creation and aid and stimulate new scientific ideas which invariably emerge at the time of creation of art. This activity would also most certainly increase camaraderie amongst the society and neurosurgeons. In any form of art, there are potentially three parties. The first is the subject itself, the thing one is drawing. That is the subject that one is drawing. It takes part by just being there, exuding its own beauty. The second part in this process is the art creator. Why an artist creates art in the first place, this reason really varies, and it has been a subject of debate for many centuries. And for a person not inspired to paint, a real question could be, why paint it at all? There is no easy answer for this. Inspiration and the hunger to consume the aesthetic beauty cannot be really defined. It is just there. Reinhold Messner, who is considered the greatest climber, was once asked, why do you want to climb the Everest? And he famously said, because it is there. My personal analysis is that the beauty moves you so much that you need to do something about it. And the easiest thing is to draw and paint it. And then, of course, share it with the others. However, in neurosurgery, it could create another dimension for the purpose of drawing, and that is chronicling your findings and helping in research. The process of drawing gives you the opportunity to revisit the surgery very minutely because you have to draw the details without omission and with perfection. And this actually is a very powerful window for learning. When I'm operating under high magnification and illumination of the modern neuromicroscope and endoscope, the entire attention is focused at the place of surgery, as if one is oblivious of the surroundings. But you are also not focused on other things the microscope is showing. I mean, along with the surroundings, you are also oblivious of certain things even the microscope is showing, because your mind is sharply focused only at the area that matters. So when we see the surgery recordings after the surgery is over, many new things suddenly become apparent. We see so many new things in these recordings that one is amazed that so much more information was there, which you didn't even notice because at the time it was not relevant. All this, of course, because your attention was focused on the areas of dissection only. Also, while drawing, you can look at these recordings without the tension that you experience while you are actually performing the surgery. So this surgical tension is bearing heavily on your mind at the time of surgery. When you are looking at the recordings after the surgery is over, your mind is free in a more meditative state and without any time constraint. Surgical drawings and paintings are a very important, significant, and powerful learning experience for me in my focused work in the field of microvascular decompression surgery. The third party in the process of art is the spectator or the listener. Listener, I mean in case of music. And the process of performing art is completed here. The most ideal form, they say, of any art performance is when the artist and the audience and the art itself become one. Or let's say only the bliss remains. It is elusive most of the times. But when it happens, it gives you the glimpse of beyond. For most, this happens through music of different forms. But it also happens through the visual arts. A Van Gogh painting or a Salvador Dali painting in front of aesthetically blind person obviously loses its meaning. But the neurosurgical drawing will always have a meaning. It is aesthetically enchanting, and at the same time, it also imparts scientific knowledge. From this perspective, I would risk saying it is a superior form of art. Dr. Arthur Conan Doyle has famously remarked through Sherlock Holmes, when Holmes says in one of the stories, "Art in blood takes strange forms, Watson." I find most of the neurosurgeons have a streak of art in their blood. However, I find most of us not paying much attention to the play of light, form, perspective, colors, and reflections unfolding daily in front of us through the neuromicroscope and endoscope. Neurosurgeons have drawn and painted in abundance, but mostly for chronicling their findings, teachings, and for publishing. Take for example Dr. Harvey Cushing, who is considered father of neurosurgery. And you will see a man wanting to draw and paint what he saw, but mostly for scientific chronicling. Dr. Sugita, another very famous neurosurgeon, who was also a trained artist, painted and published his atlas. But today, I speak here to draw attention to the aesthetic bounty in neurosurgery. Art created from the perspective of aesthetics. You see, the world is made up of darkness, essentially, apart from, of course, self-illuminated objects. We see the world through the reflected light and shadows. It is a play of colors, light, and shadows. Objects take different colors, sheens, forms through these reflections. Endoscopic and microscopic views deep inside the brain provide us with absolutely mesmerizing colors, light shades, reflections, and sometimes almost surreal perspectives. Even on pure aesthetic merit, it is stunning to say the least. Add to that the fact that the objects seen are centers of the highest human abilities like thought, memory, facial animation, breath, and heart control, and even many more. So you are looking at not only the nature's functional marvel, but the best of aesthetic attributes. I do not know of any other situation where these two things match to the highest possible level. Without a doubt, this has been made possible by the light shown inside by a neuromicroscope or a neuroendoscope. So we are looking at something which humanity has not seen for millions of years, because there were no endoscopes and microscope in human history to shine light deep inside the crevices of brain. It is a fusion of Mother Nature's marvel, scientific documentation, the art of surgery, and the aesthetics of light, perspective, texture, and form. I personally do not find any other art with so many attributes. Drawings and paintings have a deeper connect with human subconscious mind than the photos. This seems to be ingrained in human psyche for millions of years, as evidenced by cave paintings. The visual art tickles, stimulates, and appeases a rather indefinable aesthetic hunger within us. And that is why paintings have not vanished in the era of high-quality photography. I would like to show a few examples of the paintings that I have made in the course of my career in neurosurgery. Many of these paintings are from my MVD surgeries for trigeminal neuralgia and hemifacial spasms. It is only appropriate that I'm making this video on the occasion of the Trigeminal Neuralgia Awareness Month, which happens to be the month of October. And I hope to give you aesthetic glimpse of the brain in ways not presented before. Thank you for listening to this, and please do visit our YouTube channel.